Yeah. Can you repeat the verse, Prabhu?
Yes. ये तव अक्षरम अक्षरम अनिर्देश्यम अव्यक्तम पर्युपाशते सर्वत्र गम अचिन्त्यम च कुतस्थम अचलम ध्रुवम संयम्येन्द्रिय ग्रामं सर्वत्र समबुद्धया ते प्रप्नुवन्ति माम एव सर्वभूता हिते रता.
Yeah, read the translation, Prabhu. Sorry.
But those who fully worship the unmanifested, that which lies beyond the perception of the senses, the all-pervading, inconceivable, unchanging,
You can
fixed,
read the
and
purport as well.
Hmm. The all-pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed, and immovable, the impersonal conception of the absolute truth, by controlling the various senses and being equally disposed to everyone, such persons engaged in the welfare of all, at last achieve me. Those who do not directly worship the Supreme Godhead Krishna, but who attempt to achieve the same goal by an indirect process, also ultimately achieve the same goal, Sri Krishna. After many births, the man of wisdom seeks refuge in me, knowing that Vasudeva is all. When a person comes to full knowledge after many births, he surrenders unto Lord Krishna. If one approaches the Godhead by the method mentioned in this verse, he is to control the senses, render service to everyone, and engage in the welfare of all beings. It is inferred that one has to approach Lord Krishna. Otherwise, there is no perfect realization. Often there is much penance involved before one fully surrenders unto him. In order to perceive the supersoul within the individual soul, one has to cease the sensual activities of seeing, hearing, tasting, working, etc. Then one comes to understand that the Supreme Soul is present everywhere. Realizing this, one envies no living entity. He sees no difference between man and animal because he sees only soul, not the outer covering. But for the common man, this method of impersonal realization is very difficult.
Yeah. So one thing you can see that the previous verse it was talking about, he's asking, Arjun actually asking, inquiring, what is two paths, like the path of impersonalism and personalism. So Krishna already declared the path of personalism is the highest. Now in this purport, he is talking about what the qualification of somebody who is who has to follow this path, and also what the destination eventually will come. I mean, Krishna is saying here also that eventually he comes to me. You know? But one thing you should carefully notice here that Krishna is telling this indirect worship is very not easy, because see the word aksharam, which is beyond the perceptual senses, avyaktam, unmanifested, paryupasate. If you get into the, if you try to understand, all this terminology, how difficult it is to perceive that truth thing. It's so difficult to have anything. Like if I tell you, think of the room which doesn't have, without walls, without colors, and it doesn't have any columns, no beams, no ceiling, no floor. Think of the room like that. So what can you think? You cannot think anything. So that's what he's saying, unmanifested, and then all pervading, achintya, kutastham, achalam, immovable, dhrumam, fixed. So all these things, it's so difficult actually to be able to perceive in any way. That's the way it is explained here. So that means the way of meditation is so difficult. It's not easy. That is first thing. And Krishna also will tell that Kleshodikadarastas. He will tell in the next verse that how it is so difficult to have any perception of the absolute truth like that. That is the first thing. Second thing he will talk about that these people at last may get at last. Just 1 minute. So these people at last will help, will come back. At last means, they may eventually may come to the platform of bhakti, because without bhakti, one cannot realize the Supreme Personality of God. That's for sure. So at last they may come to the Supreme Lord. So it's not going to be easy for them, right? First of all, the path is so difficult. The second thing is, even if they have to come, it will come long time. इसको peel करके इसको smash करना इसको peel करके. So yeah, so it's not going to be easy journey, for them. And the qualification also required. Like you cannot just say that, okay, I don't believe in Krishna's personal form, some impersonalist. It doesn't work like that. Just because you're not believing in Krishna's personal form doesn't mean you're impersonalist. Impersonalist means, or those who are following this impersonal path, they have certain qualification. What is the qualification? It is mentioned that they're by controlling the various senses. They also have control of senses, and then they're equally disposed to everyone, and they're engaged in welfare of all. So they have to do this also. So nowadays, like many times people will say, okay, I'm impersonalist, but they have no control of senses also, and they will not see people with equal vision. They envy people, and also they are not thinking about benefiting everyone. So you can see there is a difference between this kind of people. But what color? So you can see here that so people, those who actually a follower of impersonal path, they have certain qualification also. Now think about ourselves, like when we are practicing devotion service, now we are above impersonalist in one sense. Not in one sense, but all senses. Because impersonalists are only trying to approach Krishna in indirect way. But we are directly trying to connect with Krishna, and we're trying to practice. So how much we are trying to control ourselves, how much we are equally disposed to everyone, how much we are thinking about others' welfare. So we have to really, loudly ask this question to ourselves. So to the degree we are doing this, then only we are also trying to, truly qualifying ourselves to practice devotional service nicely. Of course, it does not need any qualification, but once you practice devotional service, you need certain kind of, sense control, mind control, and not extraneously do it outside devotional service, but while performing devotional service only, you endeavor to bring your mind to Krishna and to not being envious of others, and see everybody with equal vision, and think of others' welfare like that. So degree we are doing this, that we are making proper advancement also. Daya sarva bhuteshu. That means you are being compassionate to others. Santushtayanikan, you are satisfied. Sarvendriya Pashantasya, and you are also endeavoring to control your mind and senses. Sarvendriya Pashantasya, Pashyantya Shuddhanatana. Somebody does that, you actually satisfy the Supreme Lord. So this is how you can actually become qualified to progress nicely, and more nicely you become eligible to progress very nicely in our own devotional service. So the point is that why to take this indirect path? If it is so difficult to do it, why not develop But we have, that opportunity to have direct, reciprocation with the Supreme Lord. So why not take it that? So that's why this verse is recommending that, by telling how the impersonal path is, it's automatically understood that means that one should not go for that path. But it's so tedious, right? Not easy. And we should understand what kind of great fortune we have by that we have opportunity to direct connect to Krishna. And it's the easiest path, very swift path. Prabhupada said, just think of Krishna by thinking of the deity of the Lord. So easy, not at all difficult. The path of impersonal is so difficult. I see. So, any reflection?
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, I think for me, um, I really like the point that you said that if one tries to be an impersonalist, then they do all of these things, and in the end, all they're able to do is they don't think of anything. So then that's why they start thinking of Krishna. But if we take the route of personalism or personalist, then we can just think of Krishna from the beginning, and we know that this is how we should think. And so I like that a lot.
Yeah, thank you. Other?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I think my reflection is that we're in this material world, and we kind of the best way to go about it is by choosing to worship the material form of the Lord and his opulences, so that
Mhm.
we can best uh, find our way back. Because if we focus on something which we can't see, then we kind of lose sight.
Yes, other? Anybody else? Anybody else would like to share any point? Okay, then we'll stop here. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.